Hey, this is Fridays in the Graveyard. I love graveyard, don't you? Today I'm standing in a very old graveyard. If you can see behind me, this is Inchmahome Priory on an island in the middle of the Lake of Menteith in Scotland. And yes, it is a burial ground. You can see some of the tombs below here. Those would be important people. The priory would have had a great benefactor, in this case the Earl of Menteith. He gave the money to the monks to build this site, and he and his important friends would be buried right behind where I'm standing. This is known as the choir of the church. But if you look behind me, you can see that it goes all the way back. It's quite large, and I'm going to take you where the effigies are. Typically, these graves had important markers on them, but they've removed the important markers and put them into the chapter house, and we'll go look at them now. I'm standing in the chapter house now. You see this is a roofed building, and look at the side walls. You see how there's a bench going along all the walls? This is the place where the monks would meet in the morning to discuss the events of the day and how the day would go. It may be the only time they talked all day, the Augustinians. But this is where they have placed the effigies that were in the burial ground that I just showed you. They placed them here for safekeeping. So let's take a look, because one of the effigies is very rare, and that is the effigy of Sir Walter Stuart and his wife, Countess Mary. You can kind of see from here that it's two effigies in one, and they're embracing each other, which is very different. Now, Sir Walter died after Mary, and he died in 1295, so this is 13th century. Let's take a closer look. How tender the embrace is. You can almost see little remnants of Mary's face, but that's her. And then you can see here's her husband, and look, her hand's coming right around his shoulder. And as you take a broader look down, you can see their knees are entwined, their feet kind of touch, and they're resting on little beasts, is what they say, representative of conquering. So that is Mary and Walter, 1295. Now over here is Sir John Stuart. And you can see he was a knight, and that shield has the coat of arms of the Stuarts. Now, so he was in the early 14th century. And one more, this one is a grave slab that flanks the doorway. But what's interesting about this one is what's on either side of his head. On the left side, that's St. Michael. You can see his wings slaying the serpent. And then on the other side, on the right side, is a bishop. Notice the pointy hat and the crozier, and he is standing on the head of a serpent. But there's another grave at Inchmahome. It's the grave of a nun. Now the story goes that this nun was caught in the act of fornication. And so she was put to death, and she was buried standing up on the only hill that's here on the island. And it's right over here, all covered in bluebells. So if you take a look up there behind those trees, that little rise, that would be the grave of the bad nun. Now there's nothing more on the nun other than that she was caught in the act of fornicating, and she was buried standing up on the only hill on Inchmahome, which again is right behind me there. See the hill? Kind of see the little rise there. There isn't anything, incidentally, about the person she was fornicating with, and if they got punished, I am assuming they didn't. Anyway, this is Mindie Burgoyne, and it's Fridays in the Graveyard. I'm here in Scotland. I'll still be in Scotland next Friday, so tune in and see where we are then.